Good afternoon. This is CloudChartist with your weekly Ichimoku wrap-up for the week ending August 5th. This is August 7th, Sunday night. I'm making this video before the markets open in about a half hour in Eastern time here. It's 5:30. So looking at starting off with the ES weekly, we see that last week we made a new high, all-time high, and very bullish hammer type candle. So it looks quite bullish for the ES. The detractors from bullishness that I've been talking about for a while are that we do have a flat cloud below, pretty far below, but we're not yet overbought on the weekly, so there's no reason we can't go higher or continue to move in a sideways direction. We do make note that the body of last week's candle is actually completely above the body of the prior hammer candle. So there was a lot of buying the dip that went on. Of course, most of that was caused by the good job numbers on Friday, or the strange job numbers, depending on how you look at it, but the decent job numbers. So we do have the Tenkan-sen offering support down here all the way down at 2080. So if we did get a retracement, we could look for that as support, but that would be quite a big dip. So bullish for the ES moving forward. Let's look at crude next. I've been posting a lot of crude, or a decent amount of crude charts on Twitter. So if you haven't been looking at Twitter or whatever, you can check for my crude chart posts there. Anyway, looking at crude, we see that we came down and almost tested the weekly Kijun-sen down here at 38.86, but we didn't quite test it. We put in a low of 39.19, so that's about what 33 points, something like that. Sorry, 33 cents above that we bounced. And we did put in a hammer candle, so this looks like a potential reversal candle to me. Of course, reversals need to be confirmed by a higher high and a higher low, so we'll see if this week we can put in a higher high and a higher low. If we do get a reversal to the upside, then we are going to run into resistance at the cloud. It's a little bit sketchy where that actually is here, but I'm going to call it at about 44.32. If we do break over the cloud, we're going to have additional resistance at the Tenkan-sen. I'm going to guess that the Tenkan-sen is going to either go flat here when the new candle reopens, or it will tip upwards. Chances are it's not going to be continuing to point down. We notice that the Chikou is pointing up, reflecting this upward momentum off this bounce. We do have a flat cloud that's getting narrower, so we could get stuck in the cloud and just move sideways for a while into the fall. That's entirely possible as well. I would say that it would be somewhat difficult probably to get back over the cloud at 44.31, but we shall see. Let's look at some other stock indexes. Let's look at the Dow. Dow, we put in another bullish reversal after selling off and put in a hammer candle. We didn't put in a higher high. We are still in a downtrend for the Dow, so we will need to in order to confirm this reversal, same as crude that I just showed you, we need to put in a higher high and a higher low. So we'll see what happens with the Dow. We do have flat Tenkan-sen, flat Kijun-sen, and flat cloud below here, which suggests a potential gravity down towards those flats. But we don't have overbought conditions yet on the RSIs, just sort of meandering sideways. So this chart is overall bullish. We are a bit extended over the cloud. You can see. Let's zoom out for a little bigger picture stuff. So we chopped around in this area for a while, then corrected, came back and couldn't really get back to the highs, corrected more deeply, and then came up and continued to flag here, put in a correction here, and now we're flagging again. So you can see that we've had this pretty flat cloud configuration. We had this flat cloud configuration that didn't really attract price lower until we got into this area, until we actually lost the Tenkan-sen. So Tenkan-sen is going to be really important if we do get a correction lower. And while we're talking about the Tenkan-sen, I would say that chances are pretty good that it might be tipped up, reflecting this bullish price action, but we'll see when it does open what it does. But overall, you know, the Dow is bullish in Ichimoku terms. Let's look at the Russell. The Russell is bullish, obviously. Nice uptrend, still intact. Bullish hammer candle last week. The only thing that we do have with Russell that's different from the other charts is we do have the Chikou is still stuck inside the cloud. So next week the top of the cloud is going to be at about 1238.80, 1239. So we can expect that to act as resistance. So once we trade up to the 1239 area, we might get some selling. So be careful if you are, you know, long the Russell. If we are unable to break out of the cloud, then we could get, you know, the Chikou could get forced downward, you know, back into the rest of this cloud. Then we notice that as we move along, say about another month or so, the Chikou is, well, just in a couple weeks, let's say, the Chikou is able to get out of the cloud in a horizontal manner because the cloud drops off like this. If we do get a retrace lower on the Russell, we can look at the Tenkan-sen to offer support at 1154.30. We are getting somewhat, you know, moving up towards the overbought RSI, but we're not there yet. Let's see what the last time we did that. It's been quite a long time since we got overbought on the RSI on the Russell. Not since you know, the 2014. I'm sorry, not even 2014. 2013 is the last time we got overbought on the Russell. So let's see. Let's look at the NASDAQ. Pardon my fibs. Can't really see them on this time frame. Anyway, NASDAQ's been in a very strong uptrend, and last week didn't change that. We put in a new high, 487.97.75. A little bit of a topping tail on the top of the hammer candle, which might suggest that there is some resistance up there. So we could see some sideways price action. That would be really probably nice. More flagging action. We are quite extended above the cloud, and the RSI is getting up there. It's not quite redlined yet. You know, my RSI channel is 30 and 70, and it's around 64.99, so it's got a little ways to go before it hits 70. So fully, you know, pretty much very bullish, the NASDAQ, and pretty extended above the Tenkan-sen, pretty extended above the cloud. We do have the cloud dropping off over the next few weeks and flattening out. Let's keep that in mind as well. Let's see. Let's look at the metals. Oops. So gold got hit. We had some interesting action last week because we had the Bank of England cut rates, and then we also had the great jobs number, or the good jobs number. So some volatility in gold, ending up closing on the lows of the candle after putting in a spike high all the way up to 1374.20. So we closed, you know, about 33 points off the highs. This doesn't really look like a particularly great place to be long of gold at the moment. I would wait to buy a dip down to the Tenkan-sen if we do get that, or maybe this 1324 level, 1322 level looks better as a buy point. We could be, you know, doing some flagging, triangulating type action here for a move higher. We do have a supportive rising cloud for a move higher, but we also have the Kijun-sen coming up here, and the Kijun-sen could, if we do get a retracement down towards the Tenkan-sen, the Kijun-sen could come up and look for a bear cross, and a bear cross is when the Kijun-sen crosses over the Tenkan-sen, so that is a possibility also. And if something like that was to happen, then we'd have to keep an eye on the Tenkan-sen and the Kijun-sen cross level to hold as support. A loss of the Tenkan-sen and the Kijun-sen could bring us back down towards the cloud. There's also a cloud twist here. Oftentimes cloud twists can be attractors of price action, so keep that in mind as well. Let's move on to silver. Not good at typing today. So silver got hit after making a spike high all the way up to 2041. Got hit pretty hard and sold off down to 1972.5. Almost closed on the lows. This is a common prior sort of a prior resistance turn support area. We have a lot of tails coming into this area, so we'll see what happens this week. We could test below and then put in a close at around the same level that we're at today. Or we could come down and test the Tenkan-sen at some point. Maybe not this week, but maybe coming up soon. So we'll see. But overall, still very bullish for silver. Let's look at some treasuries. I did post some charts of ZB last week. This is a very obvious Ichimoku setup here. We did come down and we've been doing a flagging type pattern, and we did come down and test below the Tenkan-sen. The Tenkan-sen is currently located at 171.15. And we closed at 171.16, which means that we held the Tenkan-sen by one tick. This is important. This suggests that we could continue to remain bullish and get a bounce off this level here. I was fortunate enough to be short from 173 and got flat before the weekend, so I'm ready for a bullish reversal to the upside if that's what it decides to do. I'll be definitely watching this 171.15 level very carefully. We do have this blue box here which represents a window. That's a gap, it's an open body gap, and what I mean by an open body gap, in case you're not familiar, is there's no candle body that has filled this gap yet. So we could come down and test the bottom of this open body gap as well, which is around 171.04, and get a bounce off that level also. I wouldn't be surprised actually to see the Tenkan-sen open flat on the new candle because of reflecting this downside price momentum from last week's candle. But overall, still bullish in all ways for ZB. Let's look at the 10-year. Unlike ZB, the ZN was not able to hold the Tenkan-sen on a closing basis, and actually looks a bit more bearish than the 30-year Treasury bond does. So if it continues to get selling, we could see it find support down here at this gap window. But although this gap window did actually get filled, you can see the body in there. But I like to leave them on there just in case they're reactive levels. And then if we lose that support, we do have the support of the Kijun-sen down below at 131.045. But overall, besides closing below the Tenkan-sen, this chart is still pretty bullish for ZN. We do have a supportive rising cloud into the end of the year. So, but do definitely, if we do get buying, definitely keep an eye on that 132.135 Tenkan-sen level, or wherever the Tenkan-sen opens up next week, or in 16 minutes. All right, let's look at the dollar. Why not? Had some relief for the dollar bulls last week, as we did manage to hold the Tenkan-sen under the cloud. So dollar is technically bearish on the weekly time frame, but we did come down, test below the Tenkan-sen, and then hold it and get a bounce off of it. And we came up and almost test the bottom of the cloud, but not quite. So we're sort of trapped in this range here between the bottom of the cloud at 96.65 and the Tenkan-sen at 95.32. So we'll see what happens. I expect probably some sideways action, but if we do make it into the cloud, then we will have potential, resistance that could turn support at that 96.65 level, and then we'll have the next resistance level above that will be at the top of the cloud at 96.60. At 97.08. So be on the lookout for that level as well. The Chikou, this red line here, representing price action time shifted 26 periods into the past, is still stuck under the candles and inside the cloud, and it's real chaotic and tangled in here, so that's not particularly bullish, obviously. So obviously, I mean, it's bearish chart overall, but it wouldn't be that easy. It wouldn't be that difficult for it to get back into neutral territory this week if we do get some bullish price action for the dollar. So otherwise, we could also come up and test the bottom of the cloud and then get rejected lower, or just move sideways above the Tenkan-sen. So we shall see what happens for the dollar. Let's look at some. I haven't looked at any grains lately, so let's take a peek at corn. Corn looking extremely bearish. In fact, let me zoom out so we can get a bigger picture. So we haven't. We're testing like 2014 lows here, and there's nothing really that's looking like particularly indicative of a bounce. We did have this potential reversal candle 2 weeks ago, and that reversal was not confirmed and failed and is continuing to be in a downtrend lower, so not looking very good for corn. Let's scroll out to the max. Let's see. Let's look at the monthly. How's that? That should make it easy. So you can see on the monthly, it's pretty handy that I have those fibs on there. You can see on the monthly that this has been sort of a basing level for a long time, and we're actually under that 23.6 fib that has been sort of an important level, not particularly an exact level. So we have some other monthly levels we can look at, like where this reversal occurred. That is around 320. So I would look potentially for some support at around 320. But looking pretty bearish for corn, and you notice this chart goes all the way back to 2004, so not looking so sweet for the corn. I'm trying to keep this video short, so let's see. Let's look at the Nikkei. Why not? Let's go back to the weekly. Nikkei is still bearish under the cloud, although it did close above the, it came down, tested the Tenkan-sen, got a bounce off the Tenkan-sen. I think I posted that. I have been posting more stuff in my chat room than I have been on Twitter lately, so I haven't, I apologize for not posting as much on Twitter as I used to, but I've been quite busy in my chat room, and you're always welcome to join me in my chat room if you like. So anyway, the Chikou is still stuck under the candles here, which is preventing upside movement for the Nikkei. We did have a big topping tail on last week's candle. This is a long-legged doji spinning top type candle. Could be a reversal candle, so I would look for the whether or not the price can hold the Kijun-sen at. I was sort of pausing there to wait for my screen to unfreeze. Wait for the Kijun-sen is at 16320, so I'm going to look for that to hold as support if we're going to expect higher price action on the Nikkei catch up with the U.S. markets. If we scroll out, we see that Nikkei is bearish compared. I mean, it's bearish anyway, but it's bearish compared to the U.S. markets for sure. Let's just look at the yen, which is obviously, or maybe not obvious to you, but the yen is trades opposite of the Nikkei generally. So yen is looking quite bullish still. We did lose the Tenkan-sen for the last 3 candles, but last week or 2 weeks ago we got this really bullish reversal for the yen, and then last week we put in a spinning top candle, but above the Tenkan-sen. So it's important to, if you're trading the yen, to watch the Tenkan-sen level. It's currently at 0.0097,105, and so we'll see where that opens this week, and then keep an eye on that Tenkan-sen level as far as if you want to be bullish for the yen. So that's about it. I'm gonna wrap it up. Thank you for watching my video. If you liked it, found it helpful, feel free to like my page on YouTube. That will be helpful in getting me better bandwidth if I in the future, especially if I decide to broadcast live. And feel free to leave any comments or questions in the comment section as well. And for if you're not following me already on Twitter, you can do so at CloudChartist. If you're interested in joining my chat room, you can check out my website at cloudchartist.com. And I hope everyone has a great week. Thanks for watching.